I hope you went out last night gaining, and don't fear, because football is returning. I hope you had a nice New Year's Eve. Obviously, I hope you all stayed in, because if you had a big party, then you're an idiot, then you're killing people. So, let's get into the top 6 teams. We're going to see what transfers do they need to make in January. Look at some rumours, and let's see if this rumour they actually help their side or not. Let's get straight into it. Like, subscribe. Come on, 2021. Let's get the numbers up. We've got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. The jacks are going up. Let's get straight into the video. I'm just going to do Chelsea, as they spent so much in the summer that I can't see them getting anyone in. I gotta be honest. They are linked with Yusuf Poulsen, who would be a fantastic player. About 6'4". Around on transfermarket.com, he's valued at 22.5 million euros. And to Chelsea, that's a penny drop when you look how much they spent. And other than that, they're not really with anyone. I think they could do with a new manager, maybe more than anyone. But I'd give Lampard time. I think Lampard is the right man for a job at Chelsea. Yeah, but the only one Chelsea are really looking into is Yusuf Poulsen. And that's because he was at Werner with Leipzig. They worked well together. And I think that he might be the key to help Werner fire up in the Premier League, which he is bound to do eventually. But if Poulsen can help that on, then I think it'd be a smart investment. He'd be a good backup. Obviously, Giroud's class, but he is getting on a bit. But Giroud's still got it in him, I think. But, when Giroud finally goes, Poulsen could come in, do a job. It'd be interesting to see him and Tammy, if they battle against each other. Very similar strikers in that regard. Poulsen's probably a bit more clinical. Yeah, that's Chelsea. If you're a Chelsea fan or you watch Chelsea frequently, let me know. Who do you think you need in the transfer window? What players do you think could improve your team? Tottenham, they're eyeing up a couple of players. Apparently, from what I've seen, I do my research. Daily Mail's reported that Sabitzer for 45 million, they're looking into it. But I can't see that happening. I can't see Spurs spending more than 20 odd mil in this window. Maybe 30 at max. I can't see Sabitzer going there, but that is reported. He'd be a great player. Imagine him, Son on the wing, Lucas on the other wing, or Bergwijn, and then Kane up top. It'd be lethal. Modric. Is he going to return after 8 long years? He was probably great in the Premier League. He proved himself at Real Madrid. Ballon d'Or winner in 2018. Obviously, he worked at Mourinho in Madrid. He's fantastic for him. And he's on a free. So he might not come in January, but they might sign him in this window for July when the season ends in May. And he comes in after that season ends. And even though he's 34, he has still got it in him. He don't look like he's lost a beat. He's still good. He's playing quality. Real Madrid have relied on the old guard this year. I haven't watched much of them, but from what I've seen, it does look like they are relying on Benzema. More established players instead of the young people coming through. And I honestly think Modric would be a great signing. He could play in that camo. He could play a bit deeper. He could play it off. I tell you what, if Mourinho re-signs Modric, Bale, tell you what, the band will be back together and Spurs will be very dangerous title contenders. Another player is Wout Weghorst, and if some people know me, I love Wout Weghorst. 6'6", very good striker, prolific, 13 goals in all competitions, I believe, last year. From Wolfsburg, he'd be around 32 million, and Spurs are desperate for a backup striker. They had this Vinicius, I think it is. Vinicius, but he hasn't really played much yet, and Weghorst has proven in the Bundesliga he can do it. He's a good plan B as well. He's very similar to Llorente, a younger Llorente, pretty much. And Llorente was class for Spurs, pretty much got him to a Champions League final. So Weghorst would be a younger, better version of Llorente, and he'd be great. He's a great plan B to have, 1-1 drawing a game. Bring on Weghorst, just absolutely pepper the box. He'd be more physical than what the Premier League is used to, I think, with new people coming in. It'd be hard to deal with. And he'd be around 25-30 million pounds. So for a backup these days, I think that's quite good for Spurs. And we see Spurs crumbled without Kane last year when they had to play Son and Lucas up front. They just couldn't get going. So they definitely do need a backup striker. And I think for Spurs, if they could get in Weghorst this January and then Modric in the summer, Spurs will be looking very dangerous for the Premier League. So yeah, let's get on to our next team, which is Man City. They have signed this 17-year-old youngster from Estudiantes. I don't know much about him, 6 million, but if he's a winger and he's impressed in the Argentine league, and if City are after him, and this is according to LDR, Dario Saramentino, his name is, 6 million euros. So if he's 17, he could end good. You just never know with these young players. Just you got to roll the dice, and if not, they can sell him in like 6 mil. That's like, that's nothing in it, especially for Man City. So he'll come over. He could be good. He'd be good. I don't even think he'll be back. He'll be more for the future. He'd be good. But this is a mad one. Messi is always linked to City, of course. Obviously the Pep Guardiola connection, and maybe they could get him on a pre-contract in January. Imagine Messi in the Premier League. If Messi comes to the Premier League, I want Ronaldo to come back to the Premier League, and I want Suarez to come back to the Premier League. Suarez goes back to Liverpool. Messi to City. United get Ronaldo. And then we could have the 3 best attackers we've ever seen, especially my generation. You know, kids growing up in early 2000s. You know, we grew up watching, like, you know, people like Ronaldo, Messi in their prime, which I'm so happy, and I feel like very lucky the fact that my childhood was prime Messi, prime Ronaldo. You know, 2012, 2011, 2013. And yeah, so that would be insane but I can't see it happen in January, no way. Some of that would be. But this is an interesting one. Apparently, I've seen, and this is gold.com, and I've seen it everywhere as well. Man City are offering to pay £90 million for Harry Kane. And if City think they're getting £90 million for Kane, you're having a laugh. Kane, you're looking at least 150 million, I'd say. He's probably second or third best striker in the world. He's been so good for Spurs this year. He can do it all. He's assisting like mad. And there's no way Spurs would sell him to a rival for 90 million. And there's no way Spurs selling him at all. Like, he's their franchise player. But for me, I think if they do get him, it's game over. And it is game over if Man City get Harry Kane. And it does leave the mark. Can Jesus hold his own at Phil Aguero's boots? I think he's got the talent there. But obviously Aguero is such a high standard. You don't think he'll reach Aguero's standard. But obviously he's still young, Jesus. And I do think he's the right man to back job. So I hope City have a bit of patience and keep Jesus, because he is a talented player. And make him the main guy, Jesus. I back Jesus. But if Man City, I think for me, Kane, 90 million, they turn that down within a heartbeat. I think you're looking at least 150 million. Well, if I was Spurs, I'd say 150 mil for Kane. Yeah. And now, let's get on to Arsenal. They need a mass clear out. Obviously, Kolasinac were to go to Schalke, and this is a crazy one. Shokran Mustafi to Barcelona. What's going on at Barcelona? The fact they want to get Mustafi in. It's crazy. Socrates, I think, could go. A lot of the deadwood will be going in January, I think, for Arsenal, which would be good. The players are rumoured to bring in Aouar off Lyon. He's been linked with almost every club in Europe, but Arsenal seems to be the main one he's close to. Lyon, they said he's about 45 mil, and they've been quite reluctant to sell him, and they held on to him in the summer. But apparently, from what I've seen doing my research on this, I was on london.football.com. Apparently France are in a footballing money crisis. You'd be amazed even though PSG are in. Just because they've lost a lot, like, TV rights, and, like, lost a lot of money with COVID. And, like, they are small. Apart from PSG, there's a lot of small teams in France. So they are struggling for money, apparently, according to football.london.com. But he's valued around 45 mil. Young, crazy talented player. But look at the last Lyon talented player that came. Lacazette. So you just don't know. It's a big risk, but I think it'd be a worthwhile one, definitely, because he's young. You know, you only get better if he's not good the first 2 seasons. You get good in third and fourth. And this is an interesting one. Buendia from Norwich City. I think he'd be a perfect Arsenal signing. Look at the situation now. They need a rebuild. They need to build, and he's got that creative spark that Arsenal like. That's why Aubameyang isn't scoring. You know, they got Özil there. They don't use him at all, but they need that creative spark. Buendia, he can play on the wing as well. And last season, despite Norwich going down, getting relegated, he created the 4th most chances in the league in that Norwich team. He was only behind Grealish, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Kevin De Bruyne. And that City-Liverpool title race was, you know, Liverpool hardly lost the game. And the fact he's behind world-class players show how good he really is. The fact Norwich kept them in the summer is very impressive. And he would be cheap as well. I know Arsenal, they don't like to spend. But £15 million for Buendia. That is a steal. I thought he'd be higher than that. And I looked at this one. This was football.london.com, and but it has been linked on like Daily Mail, Telegraph. I don't know the newspapers. I don't know which ones you can trust. So I've just gone based off the website and Google searches. And a player also, I think this one may actually happen. Omar Rekik, only 600k. Apparently per Mertesacker is bigger than him, and he's a one for the future. Off here for Berlin, and his plan is to whack him in the 23s, and if he's good, he can train with the first team and come up. The 600k, you can't go wrong really. And if Mertesacker likes him, he's probably got an eye for talent. So definitely go for him. Now let's talk about the two main clubs. The two teams in the title race, Liverpool and Manchester United. Starting off with Man United, the clear problem with Man United. My mate is a United fan. My brother's a United fan. And they desperately need a fast centre-back to go with Harry Maguire. Because they have proven with Bailly that they can win games quite convincingly. Maguire is good when there's a fast guy with him. That's why he was good at Leicester, because he had Soyuncu, and Soyuncu is quite quick. But the keen belief is, from what I've seen, I've watched a lot of Goldbridge on this United Stand channel trying to get, and he said that the belief is they've only got about 40 mil to spend for Jan, but they can be sufficient with it. That's quite a nice amount. He said, Grealish, all he really wants Grealish, but there's no way that happens in January, especially if they've only got 40 million to spend. Grealish, they're going to be worth about 70 million pounds in my eyes. He's world class. Yes, I think he'd be of 60, 70 mil, but maybe in summer, but I don't see him getting him in January. Max Aarons is heavily linked as well. Fast defender, what they needed, but he'd be more of a backup right back to Wan-Bissaka. But for me, Championship quality, but he's very good in Championship. And Norwich, they're going to charge a high price because Norwich are looking likely to go up, so they're not going to lose one of their best players in January, are they, in a title race? So that's quite a bit doubtful. Caicedo, and I believe he's Ecuadorian. I've never heard of him in my life, but 5 mil, he's got high potential, young. You can't, if he's young, you could give him a lot of time. And obviously you got the history with Valencia and, that sort of thing. And now one that is in high demand, Osman Kabak, I think is how you say his name. Osman Kabak of SC Schalke. And according to a Turkish report, and Kabak is Turkish, so this could be a good source, that his agent has met up with United, and they're saying £30 million is his price tag. See, Schalke are not doing well at all in the league. So maybe that's a bit of a red flag for this player, because if Schalke aren't doing well in the league, and I see a big part of people's failures, they have a poor defence. Well, this guy, he's been heavily wanted all over Europe, so there's clearly something about him that people like. £30 million, United, they can't go wrong with 30 million. If you're spending 80 on Maguire, what's really 30 for Kabak? And also, Badasile, another fast centre-back. He's only 19 years old, and according to RMC Sports, there's a big European sports thing, they have said that Monaco turned down 25 million euros for him. So obviously he's going to be a hefty price tag. Young, talented. Monaco will be looking to keep their good players to challenge PSG. But I don't think they are these days. But if he's 19, he's getting rated this highly now. Imagine him in a couple of years' time. He'd probably be very good and a quick centre-back. And now Liverpool, they need a massive transfer window. If they don't get anyone, this would be the decider between them and the league title. And Liverpool, obviously, Upamecano is the first choice. As I was saying, Upamecano, Leipzig, he looked really good in the Champions League. He has a 40 million buyout clause according to Sky Sports, and he is the first choice for a lot of teams. And obviously, if Liverpool get him and Van Dijk, when Van Dijk's back, that is game over for everyone. I rate him quite highly, but obviously we rate these players highly, and when they come into Europe, Premier League, they don't do that well. So I am a bit sceptical, but I think he'll be the right man for the job. But will Liverpool spend 40 million in January? Liverpool don't spend as big as the other clubs. And we spent a lot on Jota in the summer. We got Jota in. And also, the main thing for Liverpool, I think, keeping Wijnaldum is very important. We need to tie him down to a contract this January, because we don't want him going for free. And I think he's integral to that midfield. So I'd love for him to sign a couple-year contract. Ben White is another one Liverpool could get to fill that centre-back gap. Very young. He was integral to Leeds Bielsa's title push in the Championship. But he did sign a 4-year deal in September for Brighton. And young and English, he's on a 4-year contract. His price will probably be more than Upamecano's. So, I can't see that one happening. Skrinia. This would be a very interesting one. 25 years old, I believe. Very talented player. But Spurs wanted him last year, but he said 54 million in the summer. That put him off. They said they don't think he's not worth the 54 million. That's why they didn't get him. And under Antonio Conte at Inter Milan, he has fallen off the pecking order, which is very interesting. Conte knows how to get teams to defend. He's a Premier League winner, and if he don't rate them, then that could be a bit of a red flag. But he's only got 2 years left in his contract, so he's not going to be that expensive if you wait a year. And, he might go down to 30, 20 million. And for 30, 20 million, why not? He's proven himself in Italy. He could prove himself over here. And the final one for Liverpool, Orhan Kabak, the same as United. He's heavily linked last summer to Liverpool, but COVID happened and they said they couldn't get him. And the rumours are, actually, he's like 20, 30 million. And then obviously, Wagner's got good links with Klopp, so that might help the transfer. Obviously, Wagner's I don't know if he's still managing Schalke, but he did manage Schalke. And rumours are Origi going to swap deal. I wouldn't like the swap deal. I'd rather just pay up front, but I like to keep Origi. But yeah, I think he'd be a good signing. It'd be interesting to see how well he plays because Schalke aren't doing that good in the Bundesliga. So whose fault is it? Is it the manager? I don't know. I don't really follow Schalke. But yeah, he'd be good backup, I think. As he just develops, gets older, he can naturally progress into that first team then with Joe Gomez and Van Dijk. But I think he'd do well to plug the gap, and I think we need to try everything in our power, Liverpool, to get them. Let me know what transfers you want to see in the window for your top 6 clubs in any club in the world. I might do other lower down teams. The top 6 are the main ones we talk about, isn't it? So subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.